Rio, I've been seeing some fantastic stuff on Rio Ferdinand Presents. I saw the Mount Rushmore post that you posted and loads of traction. I think we need to put the image up so everybody knows what we're talking about, where you can find the platforms to follow, etc. X, Instagram, the whole lot, TikTok, and of course YouTube. But
one of the big problems was the Mount Rushmore is meant to be for 4, and we had.
Yeah, whose idea was that? Why did you do it that way? Why did you?
Well, I just couldn't split them, man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I just think sometimes you can't split people. Do you know what I mean? So, but we've been forced now. The comment section's told us, come on, fix up, go for 4. The Mount Rushmore is always consists of 4 heads, and we had too many.
I think when you're doing Mount Rushmore, you got to have your stats ready because
it's got to be a blend. Because if it was just stats, Frank Lampard's on the list first out of all of them.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
100%. Frank Lampard, assists and goals, 100% will be the first name on the list if you just go by stats.
Yeah.
But football isn't about stats. It's not like a basketball or NFL type sport where it's very stop-start, it's set play driven. This is a game that has a maverick moment. It has different nuances. It has moments that are off the cuff where players are allowed to use their imagination over anything else, where it's not about driving stats because there's 11 players on the pitch as well.
Yeah.
So it's very different, and I think you've got to have a blend. And I think, and there's another thing you can look at, because you can go, oh, well, he was the best for if he was going to pull out one season for all these players, Yaya Toure probably goes to the top of the tree.
Yeah.
It was about a 1 season.
Or 2.
Yeah, right? But it's also about longevity. You've got to consider, I think, everything. When you consider it all, Paul Scholes has won 11 Premier Leagues, bro.
You're going to have to do this same post, right? And go with 6, then reduce to 4 for strikers and defenders as well.
We'll do that.
This one we're focusing on midfielders.
We'll do that. I'm just going to give you mine now.
Go on.
Scholes, because the goals he scored and the way that he changed his game from being someone who got in the box and scored goals and won games to being somebody then who came and then run games from a deeper position. So had 2 elite careers in one, the way he played, so to speak, had mad influence on a team and done stuff with the ball that I don't see many do. His range of passing was like, this guy was loved and adored by every foreign team. Every foreign manager would want him in their team.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't base this on him on goals though, because all the other players minus 1 or 2, like the defensive midfielders, score more than him. I think it's everything else you said. What he does
early in his career, the geezer was a goal scorer.
More goals. He was a forward.
That's what
when
I'm saying.
He started,
but that's my point. He didn't finish like that. But we're not watching him for the last 10 years of his career. This is a whole career, 20 years or whatever it was. His first years in his career, he scored goals. He defined games, created chances, etc. He played higher up the pitch.
I don't know about defining games though.
Bro, you need to go and watch YouTube, bro.
I was watching Scholes.
This is for England. This is younger. This is young.
He was like, he did take over like the Gascoigne role for England and for United, but I don't know. Anyway, bro. But he is on the list. He is.
Scholes is not. He's on there, right? He's one of the 4. Roy Keane, for influence over a long period of time, trophies, dominance, big games, leading. He done it all, man. Again, you young guys watching, please go on Instagram, please go on YouTube, please, and just watch. He weren't just about tackles. He weren't just about shouting and snarling. This guy was a footballer, bro. He could play. He could run past players off the ball and finish chances. He could run beyond defenders. He would bully people. He could pass the ball, wrap the ball into the forward. How many times the ball came to him off the fullback? He played first time into the forward, beating the press, playing through the lines before through the lines was even talked about. Like he was a joke. Proper player. Gerrard. No midfielder list. I don't think you got to have him on it.
You were with him in.
I was with him in Champions League final, man. His only problem was that he didn't play the teams that were dominating at that time.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have seen him in a team that were actually dominant and were winning consistently. He was at Liverpool, below par team really in the Premier League. Had the odd season where they challenged, but they weren't good enough. And that was the only shame for him, I think.
Yeah.
But he was Roy the Rovers. He dragged the team over the line countless times in the biggest moments. Yeah. Like to do that, you just that's just crazy. And I know there'll be people out there and go, yeah, he didn't win a Premier League title, etc. But when you look at his value as a footballer, paying to watch out of all of these players, I would argue he's probably up there as the one you'd go and pay to watch before them all. In their prime, because he would score an absolute 30-yard rocket.
Yeah.
He would curl one in. He'll have a little bit of backspin and guile on a pass and assist. He would smash a ball across the box. Like he had every tool, like every club in the bag. He was a joke of a player. So we'll have to go on there. And like I said, Joe, if it was about goals and assists purely, and I'm a manager, I'm taking Frank Lampard straight. But I think with all the other stuff, like I don't know, there's Vieira was like I don't know if we've seen after Roy Keane. I don't know if we've seen a more dominant midfielder. He had more skill than Roy Keane.
I disagree with that. For me, I think Vieira was the ultimate DM. I think the only thing that Roy's got over him, and this is respectful by the way, not in a disrespectful way, but I just think he was in the Prem longer. But I look and I just think Vieira could, for a big man, everybody that we've had come in here and sit on this table, whether it be Joe Cole, whether it be whoever, Genius, they'll go, they felt like they had made the Premier League.
But don't forget, them guys missed prime time Roy Keane.
No, they didn't.
They did.
What, when they didn't
Joe play.
Cole started, no, Rio. Because when Joe Cole started Joe Cole was a young boy. He started at 18. We'll probably say that's like the year 2000. That's prime Roy Keane.
No.
It is. That's prime Roy Keane. Like 2001, 2001 is prime Roy Keane. Joe Cole, yes. Jermaine Genius as well. Like they came in where,
Roy Keane, Joe Cole might have got a one taste. A one taste, that's it. They didn't play no bulk or belly of his
prime.
career.
I'll give you that. They weren't in their prime.
I'm just saying that these men didn't get the full taste of Roy Keane. I'm telling you. Vieira was younger. Vieira coming through later. But I'm telling you, mate, trust me, when you hear Gerrard and Lampard talk about coming up against Roy Keane when they're coming when he's in their prime, he's in his prime, and they come up against Roy Keane, it's like, bro, I got to know there's another level. That's what I'm saying. De Bruyne, I think, was great, but
you know what? I apologise to you, by the way. Earlier on, see, I'm a man that can put my hand up when I'm wrong. I fought strong for De Bruyne over Roy Keane. And I said, no, De Bruyne over Gerrard. And I said, Rio, why'd you say things like that? I really went off.
It's recency bias.
And then I had to go home.
Go on YouTube.
Go on YouTube and watch some Premier League years.
De Bruyne is a beautiful footballer. He might be actually the most graceful out of all of these players. And in terms of when you watch in little moments, you go, oh, that was beautiful.
I agree.
But there's something that makes me just want to put Vieira over. Lampard had much more. I think had more game-winning moments. I think he did.
It's because they play they're in midfield, but it's different positions. You cannot compare. It's hard to compare Vieira to Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's
different things, man.
But if I'm going to say holistically, I think the best. I'm going to go Vieira. I think I'm going to go Vieira, Gerrard, Keane, Scholes. And that's no disrespect to Lampard and De Bruyne. Lampard, like I say.
Do you know why I see it different though? Because you can say that, but there's other players that you can plug in the Vieira position and you'll still have the same kind of output, whereas you can't really replace. There's not a lot of Kevin De Bruyne's. For example, you can put a Makalele in that position. You can even add honourable mention, who I was talking about. Rodri or Kante. I spoke to Jody Morris and he was fighting for Kante. Not the same level. I said, Kante's on the table below with David Silva and all them guys. Still a great table, but it's not that table. But whereas with Kevin De Bruyne, who,
Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne and Lampard. And after them in terms of goal scoring and creating chances, who'd you go to after that? Fabregas, maybe?
But then again, respectfully, that's the table below.
But I just... This one is hard, Vieira, De Bruyne or Lampard. De Bruyne won a lot of Premier Leagues.
It's as much as I love Vieira.
I think he's actually probably out of Lampard and De Bruyne, Yeah. Now you said that, the way you said that, it's probably put me that way. I'm going to go for De Bruyne.
Over Lampard? You're going to change your mind next season. I know you will. You're going to change because you've got days where you fight for Frank Lampard.
There's a different reason why I fight for Frank, though.
Yeah.
Because Frank, his goals and assist record is, I don't think he'll ever be beaten. I'm actually going to put Frank in there now. The more I talk about certain ones, I'm not going to talk about none of them no more, right? Frank Lampard, that's it. There's no one, I'm going to go as far as say there's no one that will get as many goals and assists in their Premier League career than Frank Lampard from that same position. Ever.
Yeah.
No one's even close.
Well, yeah, no.
So that's my Mount Rushmore.
So go for it again, please.
Scholes, right, in no particular order, my Mount Rushmore is, in no particular order, my Mount Rushmore of midfielders in the Premier League are Scholes, Roy Keane, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard.
All sound like your friends.
Not really. We've had Vieira on the show before. Kevin De Bruyne is going to come on, I'm sure, at some point. I hope he does after this.
Yeah.
But listen, the two that didn't get on, it's like we're talking
Vieira and
De Bruyne.
De Bruyne.
Like, there's going to be people in the comments. Come in the comments and let me know what you think. I know there's going to be De Bruyne fans, there's going to be Arsenal fans for Vieira, etc.
Honourable mentions. We've said Fabregas. We've said Kante. Yeah. We've said Rodri. I mean, yeah, a bit too soon for him, I reckon. But yeah, it's crazy, you know. It is difficult. Let us know what you think. Has Rio got it wrong? Let him know if he has. Do you agree? Disagree? Goodness.
Let's go.
You sticking by it, yeah?
I'm sticking by it.
All right, there you go.
Could change tomorrow.
And we're going to do the defenders and the strikers as well at some point this summer. So get those ones out there ready for us.
Yeah, get some names in, man. Send us some names in the comments. We're going to do a strikers one. The Mount Rushmore of Premier League strikers. Who are you going to have as your Mount Rushmore for? Let us know.
You're going to do 6 and then go to 4?
Yeah.
Got
to, man. Can't just go 4. There's too many to choose from.
I love it.
Thanks, guys, for listening to this episode of Rio Reacts. Hope you've enjoyed this show. And if you have, make sure you leave us a review and follow this Rio Ferdinand Presents feed to make sure you never, ever miss an episode. If you've got a point you think we should be discussing or want to put us on the spot with a question you want answering, get in touch using the fans first at rioferdinandpresents.com email address or use #RFP on social. See ya on the next one.